good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you listen to us from, straight from the 909. I have the legendary Hollow Spaces in the building, and myself, Nesquick, and together, that's hip hop. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really does mean a lot. Today, we're fellowshipping with the legendary duo emerging from Southern California. Their style marries raw lyrical intensity with atmospheric soundscapes. Founded by Reflect and AJ, Reflect is known for his introspective wordplay and shadowy cadence, while AJ perfectly is complementary on the production, and it leans into this beautiful style synths with brooding guitars and echo-drenched percussion. The band crafts music that feels both deeply personal and expansively cinematic. Their Southern California roots give them this laid-back yet haunting undercut, drawing influence from styles like trip-hop, ambient hip-hop, and moody alternative rock, creating a sound that's melancholy without being bitter and hopeful without being naive. What makes Hollow Spaces particularly compelling is the way Reflect and AJ balance each other. Reflect's verses are visceral and confessional, often navigating themes of identity, loss, and longing, while AJ's arrangements lend structure and emotional weight, building slow burning crescendos and quiet recesses in equal measure. Their debut songs and singles already hint to a larger vision, one where vulnerability is not weakness, but a creative superpower. As they continue to release music and perform locally, Hollow Spaces is poised to become a voice for anyone who ever felt caught between shadows and light. The Shadow Master Rhyme Blaster and the illest guitarist artists, Reflect and AJ of Hollow Spaces, welcome to the show.
That was fantastic.
That was one of the most awesome intros. Dude, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. I love what you said about the vulnerability. What was that line about the vulnerability? Vulnerability is like creative superpower. That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's vulnerability is not a weakness, but a creative superpower.
That was really good.
Yeah, and that's exactly the feeling that, I get from listening to you guys. It's cinematic. It's really such a work of art that you guys are putting this together, and the dynamics between you two, the soundscapes, the layers, all of it, man. It's very rich, very rich.
Thank you.
I first got to witness you guys in action for the first time at the Fam Likely release party in Pomona, but this was your guys' first debut live performance?
Yeah, that was our first performance.
Very first.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun too.
It was awesome.
I did not even know that was your guys' first debut live performance. I'm glad I was there then.
They almost didn't believe us because after we got done, they were just like, "That was your first performance?" And I was like, "Yeah, crazy. How'd we do?" Mm-hmm. And they're just like, "Dude, shouts out Diesel, Personal, and Imagine."
We had 2 rehearsals maybe.
Wow.
We had 3, but one we had to cut short because our schedules weren't merging, so we're just trying to make it work. And so we just kind of picked at it, and we did it.
2 full band rehearsals with everybody there, and one with he was there for a little bit of it, and we didn't have everybody, so we had 2 full band rehearsals within weeks prior to that. So I'm just glad that it turned out the way that it did.
Yeah, and I mean, from being there, you guys shut that place down. That's crazy, man.
Thank you.
You guys shut it down with the energy. I mean, you weren't even on the stage. You came down off of the stage, roaming around, spitting the verse with such confidence. That was ill. And then you were shredding it on the guitar, doing your thing. You fine-tuned it in the middle, really quick. I always think that's just crazy. Your ability to do that even is nuts. What did you guys seek to accomplish, this being your guys' first debut performance?
I think the intention was just to kind of put us on the map and kind of see. We knew that we were talented, making the music, but how can we do at a show? She's done shows. She's been in cover bands. She's been in bands and stuff, but it's my first time with a band. I've always just been hip-hop artist, so I knew I had to come with a completely heavier energy. So that's one of the things I was worried about, especially because I have very intense vocals with very small breathing points in between. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of one of those, let's see if we can actually do this. Let's see what, and it went fantastic. It went really, really good.
Yeah. My whole goal was to just show up and show out kind of thing. You should go and leave it all on there, no matter who's there, and that's what we did. So it was a success.
What's always crazy to me is your ability to pull other people in like when, even if one piece is missing because some other thing is conflicting or whatever, you have these resources where you're like, hey, I know you're good at this. You might help in this. I think that's just crazy, your ability to do that and bring people in, because I mean, I've seen you work with other bands in the past, and you've worked with different drummers and guitarists and bassists, and like, I don't know, I think that's just amazing. Like you're able to do that and really kind of curate this movement. You know, I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's what's so important about just the community that's around in the IE and in Southern California, no matter what genre you're playing in, is just the fact that there's a whole network of people who love or that have the passion for the same thing that you have when it comes to art and creating and performing, that when you finally meet these people or when you make these connections, it's like, hey, you know, I have this show coming up and I need something, or, you know, whatever. I have this song. Could you do a verse or something? And you connect with all these people. It's a huge community. So that way, like when you know, a bunch of other artists or people that like to do the same thing that you do, you know, everyone's always down, you know.
That's dope.
So,
and
cool.
Peace, who was it that rocked the show that night and singing the vocals, the main?
Her name is Charlotte LaRue, and she's so awesome.
Yeah, peace to her.
She's
Awesome.
so
Really
incredibly
good.
talented. She's from OC, and she plays in so many different bands. She's a phenomenal vocalist. She's a phenomenal songwriter as well. She plays some guitar too. And she's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So shout out to Charlotte. I love you.
Shout out Charlotte.
Man, it was just really, I'm grateful that I was there. For you, AJ, you know, I know that you also have this background in production too. What's the tiny like sonic detail like in a live setup that you hope the audience picks up on?
Honestly, it's just the fullness of the band and the sound. As long as it sounds full and it's tight, I mean, that's what I shoot for every time, making sure that it doesn't sound like there's any emptiness, no space. Well, it's good to have, you know, some space where it's necessary, but making sure that the sound is just like really full, that everyone's just like super locked in, everyone's blending really well together. So that's what I strive for, both in the studio and on stage.
How do you actually do that though? Like, how do you make sure that it's all full?
If I'm being honest, it's a lot to do with the players and the musicians. So Nadine, she wasn't able to be here today. She's our drummer. She's a fantastic drummer, and she kind of brings all of our songs to life. So playing with her, having that experience, me kind of being that rhythm section with her, and then our buddy Val, he played bass for the show. He's been a longtime friend of mine too. The three of us just getting together and knowing what we want to do, how we want to play, and bringing that energy. It's so much easier to create and deliver that like wall of sound.
Interesting.
They're very tedious in their craft. When we write our music, they can be very tedious.
We're really picky.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good thing too, though. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
For you, Reflect, you know, your lyricism feels introspective and layered. Is there a line or a concept in your debut material that you were most excited about, or maybe like nervous for people to hear live?
Well, one of the things, part of the reason why my name is Reflect is because I reflect introspective. That's it. I talk about the things I think about, whether it be my problems, if it's a good mood, bad mood.
Right.
With Hollow Spaces, the type of music we're doing was kind of, like you said, it's a vulnerability thing. I feel like because it's very emotional, so I have to like reveal pieces of myself, darker pieces of myself, emotional pieces of myself. So there was a bit of nervousness, like debuting that out to the world, because I've always been a transparent person. I always try to be as transparent as I can be, but just it was like a complete step out of my comfort zone. Like I'm good at rhyming and writing rhymes, but I had to come with a different
almost
song.
like perform, like act a little bit, like to bring it out of you, like.
And it also like, because writing a hip hop song, whereas to writing a rock song, like I can still do hip hop lyrics, but it's almost like I go into a different mind state. Like I'm curating this perfect sound to create like a certain vibe from the songs, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas hip hop, I'm just barring out, telling my story and everything. And not saying that I don't treat that craft the same way, but with Hollow Spaces, it was just a complete step out of my comfort zone. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I was very nervous about, especially doing the performance. But I've been doing good so far, so I just got to keep the ball rolling and be on that, you know?
Yeah, I love it. And then, you know, what was the moment that you guys realized that you weren't just like collaborators, but like you guys were actually like, you guys were forming a band with a shared vision?
I would say, because Insane was our first song, and it did really good, and we're just like, oh, this is a great track. Like, people are loving it, you know? Maybe we should just do another one. Because at first we're just like, we wanted to just do it strictly for just like, hey, you know, we haven't done a song together in a couple months. Let's just do something. And people liked Insane so much, we're just like, all right, let's try this other one. And I remember AJ, my bad. I need to call you AJ. She had sent me something. I was chilling in my room. She was like, hey, check this out. And she sent me like the guitar riffs and everything for Spirals. And I was like, can you add more to it right now? And she was like, yeah. She sent it to me. I wrote a verse. I sent it to her. She was like, dude, we need to lock this in. I think during the creation of Spirals was really just like how epic it sounded. We're just like, yo, like we can really do something with this. And the more we've done it, the more we've seen that, especially with the recent performance and then those nominations we got, the OEN awards. It's like confirmation and gratification in the same sense.
Yeah, congrats on that, by the way. On being nominated.
Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. I love the Empire now, what they're doing with that, because they're finally able to recognize the true talent we have out here. And it's cool. You know, it's cool that that we're getting that. And, man, you guys, I definitely feel like, I think you guys had my vote, too. When they asked for it, I made sure to shout you guys out.
Thank you.
I seen that.
I
Thank
saw
you.
that, too.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I was like, oh, I got to shout them out on this one. Because it's so dope, because I feel like what you guys are doing, it almost feels nostalgic to me, but it's also new. It's a weird feeling. It's like I feel
That's
both.
what we intend.
Yeah.
We want it to be a breath of fresh air, but still have that like nostalgic sound from like the early 2000s type.
That's
Because
cool.
that's the stuff that I love. Like when I was 12, 11 years old, listening to Linkin
a lot of
Park.
good stuff,
You know
man.
what I
There's a
mean?
lot
Like
of
that
good
stuff
stuff.
moved me. It got me through crazy moments in my life. So we kind of intended to have that type of sound, but we wanted it to be something that isn't really being done out here that we know of. You know, maybe there are some bands doing that type of sound, but that was kind of our intention, to balance the nostalgia with a fresh modern twist, you know?
Right. You know, would you mind hitting that button for me, Reflect? I don't know for whatever reason it stopped. I'm going to give it another chance. You can hit, not now. You can hit, or actually, if you wouldn't mind passing it to me, I'm going to have to work around this. We'll use your guys' camera. My next question for you guys is, you know, I know you guys known each other for a long time, and I think you guys were classmates, right? You guys were classmates?
It's kind of a crazy story. So we met through a mutual friend. She had came over to my house because I had a friend that was there. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm Kevin, you know, and she's Alex, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was that week we both had to go to college. We were starting at Crafton. And so I was like, oh, you're going to Crafton too? She's like, oh, okay. So I show up, I'm waiting outside the class, and then out of nowhere she walks up. She was like, so you're just not going to say hi to me? And I was just like, what? And just like ever since then, we just hit it off because we ended up having 2 college classes together, and we lived in the same neighborhood. So we just started hanging out, and it kind of just went from there.
He literally lives like 2 blocks away from me. It's crazy. Like, it was a friendship meant to be.
You guys were both doing music at the same time too, like individually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was playing in a couple of bands. I, you know, played around here and there, and he was still rapping. He was, you know, writing and stuff, putting stuff out. So it was just after years, we were kind of like, why have we never made music together? Like, we both love making music, and it'd be kind of cool to blend, you know, his hip hop and rap with my alternative rock and like emo background and just see where it goes. So that's how that happened.
But that was like so long before you actually collabed, huh? Like,
So I had like, she had this other band she was in. I showed up to be in their music video. Like I would go to shows and stuff, and we just never like, I don't know why, it just never became a conversation between us. It just didn't. It was just stuff that we did, and then we hung out together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the way it had kind of started, there was someone I was recording with. I had a falling out. We're cool now, but I had a falling out with them. And I was just like, I got nowhere to like record my stuff. And Alex was just like, dude, just come. I got a studio. Like, come work. I got some stuff for you. Let's work.
Well, that's dope.
So I started working with her, and I started excelling immediately when I started working with her, because she's really professional when it comes to working in a studio setting. And she knows exactly. She brings the best out of me as far as recording. And So I started doing that, and she's doing her engineering stuff and everything. And then one day we're just sitting there, and we're like listening to new metal, like Linkin Park stuff, and who else, like Rage Against the Machine and artists like that, Limp Bizkit. And we're just like, how come we haven't like collabed like that? And we're just sitting there. It was kind of like a light bulb went off. We're just like, let's try this out. Let's see where it goes. And that's kind of how Hollow Spaces was born.
Man, that's a legendary story though. I was taking a look back or look into your earlier stuff, and man, as the farthest back I could find, or at least was Heat. That one, man, that's crazy. Heat
that is
was
so
crazy,
dude. Okay, so
Heat was crazy.
So shout out Lifted Brigade. That's an old squad that me and my friend had created. Shout out Beezy and Big Ear Ronnie. I don't know if you're familiar with Faja the Poet.
I'm not.
He was in Lifted, and he was a very prominent artist. He passed away, unfortunately, back in 2019.
Oh, rest in peace.
So he was a part of the crew. And so Lifted started off back in like 2013, 2014. And a week before I met Beezy, I was at this apartment party. And I had a homie named Curtis that was there, and we were just hanging out, and I started freestyling. And I shut the party down freestyling. Well, another homie named Shy Glover, which some people that will be watching might be familiar with, he was there, and he was like, yo, you're dope. So then the next week, I run into him at another party. It's like some house party at my homie Big Ear Ronnie's house. And my homie Beezy was there, the homie Noah Wolf, Prophet, Codename, and a bunch of cats were there. And I was freestyling there. And so there's like, hey, like, let's work, like, come record. So how that song was made is like I wrote right after I met them. I just wrote a song real quick, and then I went and saw them like a couple days later. And I went in there and I nailed it in one take.
Damn, that's crazy.
I just went in there and I nailed it in one take, and they were just like, yo, like, what the heck? And damn, I haven't even thought about that song in so long. Yeah, that's a legendary song.
I highlighted something that I liked. You were like, I don't give a damn if these kids don't like me. I'm still chilling out like a can of brisk iced tea.
Yeah. Young reflect bars, man.
I was like, yo, stop. I was like, I had to stop it. Would you mind putting this back on?
Yeah, I got you.
I was like, no way. Dude's barring out already. That's crazy, dude. What for you, Reflect, when did you like start actually making music?
So when I first started making, because I originally started rapping at 13 years old. My buddy Johnny, shouts out Johnny. He's on the album.
Shouts out Johnny. Yeah.
What's his rap name now? I can't even remember his rap name right now. He doesn't do it that often anymore. But
you brought him back.
Yeah, because he was one of the people who started me, and like I will always be the apprentice. But like now he's like, you're surpassing the master. I got to get on a track, and he went crazy on that track. But we would just freestyle and battle rap each other and everything. And then as time went on, I was someone that was always the overlooked kid. No one really listened to me and stuff, but everyone would listen when I'd rap. So I started finding a voice with that and an outlet, a creative outlet for a lot of the anger and confusion I had at that age. I was a teenager dealing with a lot of crap, as most teenagers do.
Right.
And back when I was 17, my mom had this like old laptop. I think it was 16 actually. It was before I turned 17. She had this old laptop, and the way I would record is I would just hit the play on the beat and then hit the record button. So I'd record with the laptop speaker.
Like brilliant.
Yeah, and I would just sit there in my garage and just write rhymes and record. And it was small beginnings. Songs were terrible. They're but I started releasing them on SoundCloud, and then I locked in with Lifted with Beezy and them, and I started working with them. But I went through a period where I just stopped not writing, but I just stopped putting music out because I was going through addiction and stuff like that. Oops, cell phone. I was going through addiction and stuff like that, so I just started hoarding my talent, which is such a selfish thing to do. I just would write by myself, writing acapellas and everything like that, and even Alex, a bunch of my...
Really? I'm getting bugged like this crazy?
It's all good.
Let me message this person since they're wanting to bug me right now.
Sorry
about that.
No worries at all, man. I know how it goes. But I had a lot of friends that were pushing me. Beezy would always be pushing me. He would hit me up like every month. He's like, so are you gonna make music again? I'm like, nah. And he was like, all right, hit me up when you're ready. And my homie Johnny would be telling me, my homie Junior, rest in peace, like my homie Marky, they would all be telling me, like, you need to put your music out. You need to put your music out. So you
took this break. I'm sorry, I kind of missed it. You took this break for what reason now?
I started falling down heavy into addiction. So I'd get coked out in my garage and just sit there and write and just keep it to myself. I had this fear of judgment all the time, and that's something, if you're going to be an artist, you got to get past it. People are going to judge you no matter what you do. So you might as well do what you love doing anyways.
Right.
But at that time, I was so worried about what everybody thought. And So I spent a lot of years just hoarding it. And then actually, shout out Nicholas Gray. We ended up linking one day, and he was
that
like,
was tied to that track you guys did. I know.
He blessed me. He was just like, hey, like, you know, let's make a track, bro. Like, I'll record you. I'll make the beat for free. Like, let's go. Because I was broke. I had nothing going for me at that time. And so I was just like, all right. I went over there. We made the track really quick and then released it.
How did he know, like, to, like, hit you up? Like, how did he?
I think, cause I've always liked, like, Nicholas Gray. Cam Archer's dope. He's one of my favorite lyricists out here. CJ Wesley's dope. Jake Asai, Navi, you know, gosh, like, I've listened to their music and stuff, and I think, like, Nicholas knew me from that. I can't remember exactly how we linked up, but we ended up linking up, making that track, and it kind of, like, I saw how people were loving it. I was like, all right, let me start getting back into this. So I did that. Then I wrote Stepping Stones. I was listening to a lot of Guru and Premier when I wrote Stepping Stones.
Man,
So that's kind of the vibe I was going to, like
step
Moment
up,
of Truth.
Step up. Yeah. Like,
So I was listening to a lot of them at the time. And like I said, I was going through a lot of stuff. And slowly I started getting on my feet, got to my sobriety, and then I just started going head into music. And that's why I've been releasing a lot more frequently.
Man.
But yeah, I went through this period where I was just like, I just did it for myself.
Yeah.
And like, I was always sharpening my sword, you know what I mean? But I wasn't using it. And people was like, what good is a sharp sword if you're not out there swinging that shit?
Dude, I
you know?
remember too hanging out at your house, and like I remember I saw your notebook one time in the garage, and I was like, what is this? And I opened it up, and you were like, oh no, it's just that's my raps. And I'm like, no shit, dude. Like, and I was reading some of this stuff, and I was like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, why don't you keep doing this?
I got stacks of notebooks, shoe boxes with paper, just tons of stuff I haven't even looked at in
like
years.
Sorts of
just,
material, man.
Yeah. I was, for a while, I was so addicted to writing. My homie Johnny always brings this up. He was just like, man, this fool Kevin walked around with a pencil in his ear and a paper in his pocket. I would just be mid-conversation. Someone was like, yeah, that's impossible. I'd go,
What?
just start writing. I swear, like that's how I was when I first started getting into it. I was just obsessed with it, and I'm still obsessed, but I get really busy. So sometimes I'll be at work, I'll be taking care of something, and I'll just be like, all right, I got a bar. Like, let me write this down really quick. You know?
Sometimes we'll be hanging out in the backyard, just like kicking it, like having a barbecue or something, and I'll say something, or somebody like a phrase will just come out of someone's mouth, and he'll just like start rhyming it. And he's just like, I'm just kidding. Sips beer. I'm like, bro.
That's one of my favorite things is about music in general, and that's why I always say, even if I like did music my whole life and it didn't like pop off, I will always do music because I love the craft. I love rhyming too, right? Just complex rhyme schemes and stuff like that, wordplay, I mean, just similes, everything, you name it. I love that crap. And yeah, I do that a lot sometimes. Or she'll say something really cool and I'm like, that's a bar. let me write that down.
We'll start rhyming to it too.
Yeah. But it was a selfish thing. I kept it to myself for a long time. And it was even to the point, like, I'd have homies I've known 20 years and they'd show up and like, oh, let me hear some of your stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to show you. I don't. And they're just like, what is the point of this? And even now, like now that I'm growing more mature, sober, and I'm just like, what the fuck was I doing? Like I was I'm glad that I was still working, but it was just, I had wasted so much time that I could have got on stages in a recording studio because, you know, writing and sharpening your sword's one thing. Being in a studio, that's a different thing. Being on a stage, there's whole different ball games, you know what I mean? And so my writing was there. So when I got back in the studio, it was almost discouraging because I didn't have that confidence, you know, like if you, I don't know, you listen to my songs, if you listen, you can see myself get more confident as the records get closer to today's date. And that's something I wish I would have done in stage experience and stuff like that. Because just being able to rap is one thing, but can you rock a stage? Can you deliver it in a studio?
Perform?
Can you curate a proper song? Is it just going to be bars? Are you going to tell a story?
Engaging?
So there's a lot of things. I was just focused on the writing and bars. So now I'm in a whole nother avenue where I'm utilizing that skill for creation, which is something that I really enjoy. But
it's beautiful, man.
I think it's part of the plan that was meant for me. It was just, I had this little cold period where I just sharpened my sword over and over again and finally started using it.
Yeah, you have a story to tell too, man. What you've been through, helping others also navigate that, you know, that's also dope. I love that. For you, AJ, you know, I was taking a look, man, let me go to my notes here. Alive in the Lights.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You're throwing it back now.
Incredible run. Incredible run. What was the earliest memory you have of realizing like the guitar wasn't just like an instrument, but like a language that you could speak?
Gosh, we were just kids, man. I was just a kid. I don't know, man. I think that was the first band where I started like writing, like songwriting. And it was it was definitely different because we started out as just a cover band, and you know, we would cover a lot of like 80s rock, you know, and maybe some 2000s rock, but I mean, going from playing solos that were already written by other artists to trying to write my own, it was different. And so I started with just like kind of pulling little licks from like other guitar players like Carlos Santana. I love Carlos Santana, Joe Bonamassa, and you know, riffs from early 2000s artists that I like Green Day or My Chemical Romance and Blink-182, like just little having that it kind of started making like my own kind of sound. So having to dig deep into what I really liked and then trying to make my own thing, eventually it just started coming together. But I don't know. I mean, I'm really bad with words. Like I'm not a lyricist. I even have a lot of trouble kind of, I guess, expressing my own thoughts with words. So
that's why I do the songwriting.
yeah,
No,
yeah, exactly. No, it's
she
true.
Did write
It's
Spiral's
true.
hook though. She
It's
did write the
true.
hook for Spirals.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different for me. So being able to just play. I mean, I'm not one of those people who feels like I can like say what I want through my instrument, but I can definitely put what I'm feeling into playing. And it's not necessarily like, oh, I have something to say, let me try and express it and make my guitar talk for me. It's more like, no, I'm feeling a certain way. I'm going to like play and put that energy into it. And whatever comes out, that's what comes out. You know, it's kind of like with Spirals, especially that riff, just that ba na 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 na. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it was just like it just goes hard, and it's like I was dealing with so much at that time, and it just that's how it came out. It was just like, you know, it's this raw, like aggressive energy. Same thing with Erase Myself. Not the last single, but the one before that. Yeah. I mean, same thing, like that, just that intro. I don't know what kind of feeling it is. Like I said, I couldn't put it into words for you, but I know what it feels like. Same thing with that solo. It's melodic, and I don't know what it is, but you can kind of feel it. I can't put it into words, but sorry, we were talking about Alive in the Lights, but kind of ventured off into that.
No, it's okay. It's good. I just feel like, you know, I love that though. The fact that you can't put it into words almost, it makes it even more of just an artistic expression, you know. It's like you know, you would see a painting, you can't really put that into words, you know, the feeling of that.
It's an energy.
Yeah.
It's like it takes its own energy that it's almost like you use your guitar to channel what you're feeling out.
Yeah.
And this energy hits other people and they vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's like this energy that gets created.
I always, a lot of people, anytime I play, and it doesn't matter who I'm playing with or what I'm playing, but like people always say that they see a totally different person on stage versus when I'm off stage. And it's almost just like, it's because everything just comes out there, you know. I can't like express things or like be, you know, whatever. If I'm on stage, it's going to be totally different, you know. But
I definitely get that feeling though. Like, yeah, like, cause I talked to you guys a little bit before you performed, and then seeing you guys on there was like, man, did I just talk to them? They're like rock stars now, like totally different people performing. But you know, I also got to see a little bit. I think, I think it was cool because were you in like battles of the bands and stuff like that too? Were you doing a lot of that?
Oh yeah, I did so many battle of the bands where, I mean, from when I was like 15, 16, all the way up till I was maybe 20, 21. So several years. And being put up against, when I was a kid at the time, being put up against adults that were like in their late 20s or even early 30s that have been at this for so long, it was just like, oh my gosh, that's scary. Like, but you know what? I'm still going to do it anyway. So it's character building.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Did you guys ever like rise to the top and like win it all, or did you guys come close? Where did you guys fall?
No, see, because the problem was especially with Alive in the Lights, we did so many covers and we didn't write too many songs. We had songs, but it never got to the point where we had enough to like just be our own band. So that's kind of where it got tough. And then on top of it, there was a lot at the end that contributed to kind of that like I don't know what you would call it, just dissolvement.
Yeah.
So yeah, we never really.
You guys
took
did a
it
music
anywhere.
video. You guys did a music video too.
We did.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
we did a music video. He was in it.
Yeah, that's the one I think I was telling you before we were
Oh,
recording.
okay,
That I
that's
ended up
what-
going to the music video and being in it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a crazy
It was
experience.
pretty cool
Watching
video
it,
too.
dude. Watching back, I'm just like, wow, like we were just kids, you know? Because it was like,
That's like 11 years ago.
You
now.
know
It
what's,
was a
you know
while
what's
ago.
interesting?
Just the-
I'm not sure if you know her name, but she's a drummer. She was in the video with you guys. Alita?
Alita.
I used to
Alita
play with
Burris.
her at a church in San Bernardino. Like,
Really?
I was
Crazy.
doing the piano, and she was a dope drummer.
Yeah, she's
I was
great.
like, who's this drummer? This drummer is ill.
Yeah.
And then she had mentioned to me, she goes, oh, finally we got a keyboard player for real now.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it was dope working with her because she was so professional, pro. Like she would do like the worship service and then she'd be out, like
Yeah.
very clean. I was like, dang, she's ill. And she played the bass too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a small world because I saw her in your music video. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Did she like play with you guys for a long time, or was she a fill-in, or how?
No, she was with us for, gosh, how long were we a band? Definitely a few years. I want to say maybe like 5 years,
Oh, okay,
4 or 5 years, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, she was in it for a while, and she was our main songwriter.
Oh wow.
So a
Oh yeah,
lot of
she raps too. She raps and yeah, she sings. Yeah, she does
she's a
little bit of everything.
really
Alita raps?
she's a
What?
fantastic lyricist. She's great. She's
You
a
never
really
told
really
me
good
that.
songwriter.
She sent me like 2 tracks because I was like interested in finding a girl rapper, and I was just asking, you know anybody? She was like, I rap. She sent me 2 tracks. I was like, oh dang, this is ill.
I gotta check her stuff out then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for real, because I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, she's super talented.
Yeah, she's super talented. But I thought that was so cool though, that run that you guys had with that. Let me go back to my notes here. Was there any like song that like changed the way you think about like arrangements, or even just song making in general? Was there any particular song out of that with being in the band that like really changed maybe the way how you do things now?
I want to say, gosh, at least back in the run with Alive in the Lights, I think just working with Alita, because we were the main songwriters in that. I mean, she brought her stuff to the table, and I would add guitar and make it, you know, edgy, and then I would bring something in and she would help structure it, because I didn't really have enough like experience with structure or like making it kind of like move in a certain way. So that's something that I feel, at least from my point of view, like we kind of like bounced off of each other. So I think a lot of it has to do with the songwriting that we did together back in Alive in the Lights. Because after that, I started a cover band, you know, and we did 1 or 2 songs with they're called Viridian Lights. The song was called, we had Faint, and then another song called Captivated. And my buddy Dominic, you know Dominic?
Yeah.
Dominic stepped in with me, and he and I became songwriting collaborators, and like we just started working together. So we started doing that, and working with him also kind of bumped up my songwriting game and my producing game, because that guy,
He's crazy good.
I mean,
He'll play on a piano and like freestyle something
That
and like sing
dude.
it. He's super talented.
this is where music theory really comes into play, because that dude knows so much, and he knows what works well, and it was, yeah, I'm so thankful for him. Shout out to Dominic. His name's Dominic Light. He's fantastic.
Shout out to Dominic.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So doing that, and then, you know, joining other bands. I joined a band out here called Aerial View. That was the most recent band that I was in before Hollow Spaces, and they had already had an album out. They had a couple albums out. They were, you know, doing the whole thing, and stepping into that kind of also shifted me in a totally different direction of like, okay, this is what being in like a real, like just band is. Like not playing covers, not, doing, you know, whatever, you know, just around like actually just going and like almost like raw dogging it, you know.
What was your role in that band?
I was the lead guitarist, and I sang background vocals. And then there were 2 songs that I helped write because they had released an album pre-COVID, and then they would do some singles. Oh, I wish Nadine was here so she could talk about this more. But she was in Aerial View too. That's where I picked her up from.
Oh, I see.
And then they released another album. I want to say it was just right after COVID. And then I came into the picture, started playing some shows with them.
You guys went on a tour.
We went on a couple tours. Yeah, we went on 2 tours. I went on 2 tours with them. Oh man, I want to go back on tour so bad. Kevin, we got to go on tour.
That'd be amazing.
Gotta finish these new tracks
Gotta
first.
finish these new tracks.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so after that, after I came into the picture, I started laying down some lead guitar parts for some singles. One of them was called Irrelevant Opinion. I love that song so much to this day.
It's a cool title already.
It's one of my favorite songs that I've been involved in. It's so good. Go check it out. Irrelevant Opinion by Aerial View.
Sick.
Fantastic.
Nice Easter egg.
And then the second one was called Joan. That was the latest one that I had contributed with them. And yeah, that was that. I mean, just being in Aerial View and working with those cats, it also kind of bumped up not just like my songwriting, but also my performing, the way that I see things also from like a business perspective and the way that you run a band. So yeah, I'm really thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a dope story. Like, I like all that, like just the character development of like everything you've been through. Like that's dope.
Oh yeah.
That's really dope. And then to hear it now, like what you guys are doing is crazy. Did you feel like any pressure at all to like reinvent yourself musically, or did like Hollow Spaces allow you to return to something more authentic?
I think Hollow Spaces helped me definitely kind of return to almost like my roots, because for a long time, especially before Aerial View, so when I was still in like my late teens and early 20s, I was always told that you have to write a hit. You have to write a hit. You have to write a hit. Like you have to write something that people, like a lot of people are going to like listening to. And so, you know, when I first started writing songs, I was writing more of like an edgy, like pop punk kind of thing, because that's what I love, you know? And when I was told, you know, this isn't going to go anywhere, this is just niche music and nobody really, it's not going to go anywhere, you need to write something that's going to catch people's attention. I was like, oh, okay. So it almost like it was like I rewired my brain, or I got my brain rewired into thinking everything has to be a hit. This has to be catchy. This has to be catchy, whatever. And, you know, after that, it was when I joined Aerial View too, that like I started getting more like, oh my gosh, this is what I love to do. Like this is, because they were a pop punk band.
Yeah.
I seen their live show too. I saw them in LA. They got down. Like people were like moshing a little bit
fun.
And everything. It was
that's
really
what
dope.
I had loved to do. And then after that, you know, I wasn't involved in anything, and that's when we started thinking like, dude, why don't we just make something that we think is dope?
So if I can cut in, one of the things that I saw with Alex in a lot of these bands, and it's no disrespect to the bands at all, but she was always forced into a box creatively, because it was always someone else's like idea of, you know, someone else is running the band. And I told her, I said, with this, what we're doing, I want you to have complete creative freedom. No one, you are the orchestra, you know what I mean? You are going to decide how you want the stuff to go from your experiences. You've seen what you like, what you don't like, all of this.
Yeah, that's so dope of you to reflect, to see that in her and allow her to take direction like that.
Oh, that's absolutely what I wanted. That's what it was. It's like, you handle the instruments and I'll be there, because there's a lot of times you're like, is this dope or is this dope? And I'm like, oh, this. So I have some input there, because I used to play a little guitar and piano, but I'm not that musically inclined. I've always been more of a songwriter. That's what I like to do. Yeah. And that's what I told her. I was like, you're going to create whatever you want to create. You know, screw what anybody has to say about it. Do it for you. You know, and that is kind of how Hollow Spaces started. We just wanted to do something that we thought was dope. That something we would like if we were teenagers, like when Linkin Park inspired us, you know, if we were to hear us back then, we're just like, oh man, this band is crazy, you know? Yeah. And that's one thing I wanted for her, because I felt like she didn't get it. And no, like I said, no disrespect to your other bands.
No, you're right.
She didn't have that complete creative freedom. And I wanted her to have that. And I was just like, you make whatever you want and I'll write whatever you need me to. You know what I mean? And let's just make something happen. And
that is true. That's insane. I had never really like up front and, you know, the front of my mind thought about that. It's true, because every band or every project that I'd ever been in where I was contributing as a songwriter or like as a guitar player, it was always somebody else's idea, and it was the way somebody else wanted to take it, right? I never really had any real control, not control, but like, you know, it had to fit something else. So this is crazy because it's true. This is the first project that I've ever really, you know, had like my say in it, or like, oh, you know, I can hear this, I can hear this. And, you know, I bounce ideas off of him, or I'll bounce ideas off of Nadine, and they'll like kind of put in their 2 cents of like, oh, try this, try that. And it just takes off into something totally different, which is great. It's awesome.
You know, there's a quote that we that one of my homies that we do the podcast with, that he said that's relevant to what you were saying. And I thought, man, that's a bar. Like you're saying,
that's a bar.
He was saying, he goes, we were talking about Nelly, funny enough. And he goes, you know, it's funny because Nelly didn't go mainstream. Mainstream went Nelly. Like they came into his world. He didn't go into the mainstream's world. And to your point, you know, doing kind of whatever music you want to create. Sometimes it might hit, sometimes it might not. But if it does, the mainstream went you know, they follow into your world, I feel like. So it's just to say to never kind of, I guess, shy away from making what you want to make, you know, but that's what I took from it.
You just reminded me too. There was, it was the night of our live debut. We were talking about trying to get other shows, and one thing that Nadine and I had mentioned was to one of the guys I was talking to us, we're like, well, there's no real scene for what Hollow Spaces is doing. It's either just, you know, just like straight hip hop, or it's hardcore. Those are the only 2 scenes that are out here.
Very prominent scenes out here.
And somebody said, well, why don't you just make your own?
That's what I've been saying for a minute.
Just make your own scene. And it's like,
we would actually have little arguments about this, because there's like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to do the IE hardcore scene? Like, because you're in the hip hop scene, where's Hollow Spaces going to fit, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's kind of the gist of Hollow Spaces. We are the space in between.
Yeah.
We're creating a whole new lane where both people who are fans of both can meet in the middle. You know what I mean? And kind of like that gapping that bridge. So I've been saying that for a while, and I think finally it's been clicking on them, because I was just like, dude, we're creating something different. It's a whole nother lane. Like,
it's still, this is one of those moments where I'm still like adjusting to not conforming to something.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, well, where do we fit? Where can we fit? Where can we fit? And I'm like trying to make us fit in a certain, you know, spot, when in reality it's like, no, screw that. Just like play wherever. And you
as
know,
Noah James says, go where you're celebrated. You know what I mean? Like there's places where we will be celebrated.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and just, you know, if we can get a show, great, let's play it. You know, wherever it is, no matter who it's with, you know, just do it.
Yeah.
It was something that they talked about a lot, and me, like I said, when I was younger and part of my name being Reflect, I always tried to fit in places, was trying to find an identity, and now that I'm just like, fuck that. Let's do what we do best, and the people will come to us. Not saying that we don't need to put work in and like tap in and network, but it's just not, stop trying to like make it a puzzle piece. It's
conform yourself.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you know, we can fit in both communities. We'll bring them to us. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what my idea was, because we didn't know where we fit, and I was like, we don't fit anywhere. That's the point. We're gonna gap that bridge.
Were there ever any moments where you guys like questioned yourself, like whether you even wanted to pursue music?
Oh yeah. I even had a day I had drank a little too much, and I was practicing my set, and I did terrible at our house. I went on a walk. I contemplated quitting and everything. It happens sometimes. Sometimes even now, you know, it's one of those things that crosses my mind, but it's one of those things that like I know I'll never stop, you know. But I think a lot. I think a lot about everything all the time, and it drives me crazy. And sometimes it could be negative. So sometimes I'll beat myself up when I've already accomplished so much, and it's just like, dude, do you see how much like the 17-year-old you that started recording on your mom's laptop is so fucking proud of you right now? You better keep going, you know?
Sometimes he talks about quitting. I'm like, Kevin, shut the fuck up. Stop. You're not quitting. Stop.
I don't know why. I'm bipolar PTSD, so I get a lot of highs and lows and stuff. And
so like if you feel down, you really feel down or something like that. Okay.
And so, you know, sometimes she's like, dude, you sound stupid. She was like, you know, you're not going to stop. She's like, you're going to feel like this for like 48 hours, and you're going to hit me up like, hey, let's go. You know? So it's just like, all right, you're right.
Yeah, I think you guys are both super talented, man. And it was an honor to be able to be there that first night of you guys debuting. Down that I know that, I really appreciate being there. So because you guys rocked that night, man.
Thank you.
And it was definitely a moment, and you guys killed it, man. You guys killed it. What's Hollow Spaces is such like a vivid name. Like where did that come about? Like how did you guys come up with the name?
Dude, it was so funny. So we had like just finished wrapping up Insane. We're sitting in the studio. And she was like, so what are we going to call it? And I literally I just came up with all of these names. And she's like, no, lame. No, every name that I was.
That's such a good way to come out with it. It's like you're checking it, you're coming up with all the list.
She was just like, no, you like. She's like, I can't come up with anything. She came up with a couple ideas. I'm like, and then I said Hollow Spaces. Or at first I was like Hollow Space. I was like, no, Hollow Spaces. And she didn't like it at first. She was like, no. We couldn't come up with anything at first. I was like, no. I was like, I just knew it. I was like, this is the name. Like this is gonna be the name. And she was just like, all right. And then after we started being Hollow Spaces, she was like, you're right. That was a good call. It has a ring to it, But literally, I just came up with some ideas that kind of represented us. And like I said, part of the goal of Hollow Spaces is to kind of gap that bridge in between the rock scene and the hip-hop scene that's in the Inland Empire. But not only that, it's almost that edgy, like we're hollow spaces, like we're emptiness, we're talking about it, So there's like a bunch of different meanings to it.
Wow, Kevin's so emo.
You're who I get it from.
Space
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Well, that's literally like it. That's kind of what the meaning was behind it. Yeah. So, and it has a ring to it. I like it. But I had in my notebook, I just had a bunch of names, and I was like, all right, nope, delete. She just kept saying lame, no. And Hollow Spaces, she was like, no. And I was like, no, this is the one. Like, this is the name.
What did it for you on the name, AJ? Like, when did you finally accept it? Like, what made you?
When we couldn't figure out anything else to call it. I was like, all right, fine.
Realistically, yeah.
No, it's true. I was like, okay, fine. I guess that one's the least, lame out of all of them. We'll take that. And then it was like, after I actually saw it on Spotify, I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's keep it.
I think the more we referred to ourselves as Hollow Spaces, it started growing on her. She was like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like it works. Yeah. I just kind of knew it. I was like, no, Hollow Spaces, that's a dope-ass name. Yeah, like, that's a band I would listen to. You know what I mean?
A dope name. Yeah, I loved it. But, yeah, man, I love the dynamics, man. I think you mentioned it about, making your own lane. That's something that's why it's even more special being out here. To even be in the Empire now, to be nominated for that was such an amazing thing.
It was awesome. So like I had told you previously, so I had went to the first one they did back in 2023, and my homegirl Linda, shouts out Linda, she had put me on the guest list. She was the host there. And so I had went with, and I had already knew of the artists and everything, and I was talking to them and stuff, and I was like, I want to at least get nominated for this one day, bare minimum, at least a nomination. And
it's so good. It's so good. I'm glad you guys submitted that, because it is such a. I was listening to Buried Alive even, and I'm like, the layers in here. Like, I miss all those details the first listen, and when I'm going back to listen, I'm like, the doubles and the layers, the extra echoes that are going on in here. I'm like, dang, dude, this is a masterpiece.
I love that song.
It's such a good song.
My favorite part is the yelling part. I'm not the type to raise my voice. So when I get to yell, I like it. I get to
shout out to Cesar Lopez.
Oh yeah, shout out Cesar.
He's really, really involved in the hardcore scene. But we recorded all the drums and most of the vocals and the guitars. Actually, we recorded everything except for Charlotte's lead vocals at his studio. Oh yeah. So everything except his vocals and Charlotte's vocals we did in his studio. And I mean, working with Caesar, especially just collaborating as producers and engineers, I mean, it's at a whole new level now.
Shout out Caesar, Smoke 909, all them cats from the IE hardcore scene. My homie Gilbert, 97 Minutes. All those guys are out there killing it right now, dude.
Yeah.
Your cadence too on that track, you were rhyming to the riff of the guitar. Mm-hmm. Man, dude, I was just like, because I had to listen again. I had to listen a little closer. I'm like, is he rhyming to the riff of the guitar? And then catching that you are, I was like, oh, that's crazy to be doing something like that's a hip hop thing that you brought into this. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Well, when she first started creating the track, and we agreed what she had set up sounded dope, and I was in the mindset of how am I gonna write this? Because it's I don't want to. I'm gonna rap, but I'm gonna have it like kind of dragged on. So normally I'm a fast rapper. I'm a fibbity rippity da da da.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I like rapping. So I was like, this one I kind of want to approach it differently. And then I just heard that riff, so I was like, I think I'm gonna ride that riff for this one. And like I said, it's been a challenge, but I like
the
it.
breakdown
It's been
too. The breakdown was also nice. You know, the way you broke down at the same time that the drums were breaking down. Man, it's a brilliant song. It's a brilliant song.
Thank you.
That's one of my favorites.
Was it this record? I'm trying to remember. Was it this record too? At the end, it goes like into this nice melodic, just like, I don't know if it's just a guitar at the end, but it's really nice. And
there's a bridge on Buried Alive where it's this nice melodic sound, and then it ties into what leads into that heavy breakdown. So maybe it's that one.
Yeah. I thought that was also beautiful that it was in there, tucked in there. Like,
I think it is Buried Alive. It might have been in the middle though. I'm not sure if it was on the end. I can't.
I don't know.
Yeah, because that's one of my favorite parts is that little.
There's like a little part, and I'm like, oh man, that's a sample. But yeah, it's really nice.
I'm trying to think too.
Can you guys talk me through putting together that record, Buried Alive? Like, what went into making a Buried Alive?
It's kind of funny because I think it was that song that it started out as almost like a Deftones influenced track.
It was way slower. It
was way different.
It was way different.
Completely different.
That first verse that you hear on there, I actually wrote that like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this idea had already kind of been in the works. We just didn't pick it up until like later on.
I started messing around with different like chord voicings, I guess. So I wasn't using like standard bar chords or anything like that. I was using a lot more chords that you would hear in like Deftones or Loathe or stuff in that kind of genre. And it wasn't until actually I had a demo. It's still on my laptop. I still have that demo on my laptop, and it's literally called like Deftones influenced demo or something that.
I love the little first draft titles.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. So it started off as that, and then when we brought Nadine in to kind of like finish up the structure and lay down some drums, when she lays down drum tracks or just like drum ideas, that's what kind of just pushes the song into like its full 90 to 95% finished product.
Me and Alex was like, look, this is what we wrote, and she was like, all right, I could work with that. She'll just throw it down. We're just like, oh, this turned into something like.
Oh yeah, no, she'll come in and she'll restructure it. She'll be like, no, like let's do something like this. It needs to be something, whatever. And I mean, it just she really really pushed that song into a different direction. Like we sped it up, the different drum patterns that she uses, her breakdowns, her fills. Oh man, it's awesome. She's great. So shout out to her for bringing that song in.
Really well too. They have this like crazy like artistic chemistry. You know what I mean? Like they bounce each. They just if you see artists at work when they're working together, and you say, oh, like these, like it seems like they've been working together for years. They have, and you can tell. You know what I mean? It's
where you can be honest with each other and actually put feedback and input into it.
Constructive criticism, all that stuff. Because that's one big thing with us is that we won't like BS each other. And if I don't like something, nah, I'm not feeling that, dude. Like, let's do something else, Or if she's not feeling the lyric, or she's like, no, you need to change that. So I'm like, all right. So we have a healthy way of being able to have that creative input and still respect each other's boundaries for what we want to like convey. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I almost. Actually, we'll continue on. Erase Myself was also another awesome track, man. I'm really liking what you guys are doing so far. Like I said, I feel like this is just like slowly bringing us into this bigger vision. But Erase Myself, can you guys talk to me a little bit about what that track meant for you guys and why you guys went in that direction?
Gosh, how did we start that? I don't remember how we started that.
You want me to tell the real story?
Okay, good.
We literally were just at her house. We're having some drinks. We're just like, we need to work on some new stuff, dude. We need to make some new stuff. And she's just started. And I was like, oh, that's dope. And we just kind of. And then I wrote the chorus for it. And she was singing the chorus. We're just like, yo, this is it. I wrote a verse, and then we waited a couple days. We went back to it. It was like, yo, like this is actually really good. So then I went and wrote the second verse. May I remind you, those verses are freaking crazy to rap, especially live. The pain just overflows, no strength, just broken bones, pressure cracks from the weight. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, because you're talking about, I'm imagining breath control. You know, you got to put energy into it.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
And you're rapping over a band. So there's all these elements that are going into that.
It was intense, and the rhyme schemes on there are freaking crazy. So I definitely enjoyed making it, but I think the concept of the song kind of comes from like trying to rebuild who you are, like reinvent yourself. You're erasing yourself. You know, you're the bad apple, so now you need to like reinvent yourself, whether it be through mental health, whether it's addiction, just relationship problems or whatever. It's just this internal struggle of someone trying to recreate themselves and also accepting those flaws in the same go.
Yeah.
The chorus literally says, "No escaping myself now, pick my soul apart, fix this broken heart. Every time that I fell down, I was left on the floor, dead to the core. I'm erasing myself now."
Yeah,
So it's like,
and then the bridge was the I've
been delusional. That's literally the entire bridge. It's literally just I've been delusional, but
that's kind of like the struggle of anyone who's listening, or you know, who's gone through that type of internal struggle. You feel delusional. You feel like you're lying to yourself, saying like you have to. It's this weird cross between accepting your flaws and who you are and who you were, and erasing that to create something new. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can feel delusional doing that. It's like, how can I be this good person if I was this piece of shit? You know, before, like, what am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the concept of that.
Yeah, I love the you know, because I mentioned earlier in the intro, like the line that it walks. It's like, you know, you're talking about sometimes dark stuff, like, you know, but it's not in the vein of being bitter or nothing. Like you could see like the light in it. You know, that's what I think is a cool dynamic of the record.
Yeah,
that you see that too in there, but it's like not like cheesy or nothing. It's like, but you sense it like in the lyrics too. I think that was also dope and also genius about it.
That's one of the things I always try to do. I'm a yin and yang type of guy where I try to have a healthy balance between it. And especially when you're making a song where you're talking about stuff that's like pretty negative.
Yeah.
I try to not sound too bitter, because you want to have like some bitter, you know, like the breakdown of Buried Alive. I sound mad, you know what I mean? So you got to have that type of emotional aspect to it for the authenticity. But I feel like for my listeners or fans, I don't want them to dwell in that place. I want them to see that little light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's like that you can get through this. Yeah. That's part of the reason I am vulnerable in it, because I want people to not be afraid to be vulnerable about something they're struggling with, and realize that you can get through it and you can change. And a lot of the music I used to listen to is like, they would take the words out of my mouth, like stuff I was feeling or thinking. They would say like Chester Bennington, like the stuff he would sing in Linkin Park, Mike Shinoda. They inspired me a lot. Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to do with people who listen to our music with my writing, is like, I want them to be able to feel like relation to the pain that they may be going through or that I'm going through, but also that like, hey, I'm getting through it. You're going to get through it too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of like, you know, different artists, who are you guys' early influences?
Well, Linkin Park, like I said, I've name dropped a million times. Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, classic rock stuff my grandma used to show me, Metallica, Rolling Stones. I mean, I had a lot of different musical influence, 80s bands like Billy Idol, you know, stuff like that. Like, I've had a lot of different influences as far as bands, but I think Linkin Park was one of those that just...
one of those special ones.
Yeah, yeah. Them and System of a Down were like my shit, you know what I mean? So they definitely... they're heavily influenced on how I do my music in Hollow Spaces.
Yeah, for me, it's also Linkin Park, Papa Roach, a little bit of System of a Down. I'm a really, really big Green Day fan though.
Yeah, Green Day too.
Green Day, like my roots are for sure like Green Day. Going into heavier stuff like Bullet for My Valentine.
My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance, of course. Mm-hmm. Love me some My Chem. And some newer stuff too, like Pierce the Veil. You know, my seeny weeny days in high school with the flippy hair and with the flippy hair and everything. Yeah, just that kind of stuff. So,
man, that's dope. Mm-hmm. You know, I almost forgot to mention too. You had put out the project Jade.
Jaded.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Jaded. That was this year too. You put that out, right?
Yeah. I dropped it. I think it was May 26th.
And that was also a dope project that you put out. And I wanted to at first kind of go into that. There was, let me go to my notes here. Yeah, you put out Jaded. Oh yeah, there was a couple of records on there that I wanted to highlight: Chaotic, Silent Treatment. Highs and Lows, which featured Personal on that.
Shouts out Personal.
Split.
Split, man, that one's crazy.
Yes.
Dude, the
that
bars
was
at
an
the end.
interesting one because you go into different, you like actually switch the personality types because you started off rapping, but then on the second half of that, you actually go into like the split personality sort of, and like almost like raging on there. Which
So
is
that was the concept I intended because, like I said, I'm always like part of the reason I'm Reflect is like I'm a split person. There's like two sides of me, you know, like how I view stuff. And so the beginning of it was supposed to be that light view, hopeful, grateful. But then it's just like when those doubts hit your mind, maybe I'm numb from the pain. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of the intention with that track. God, those bars on that track is crazy.
Yeah. Also, Chaotic was interesting too. You had the skit on there about meeting up with the friend and went into storytelling, and that one I thought was really, really brilliant as well. How that track came together.
I actually have a music video for that one.
Oh,
too.
do you have a music video for that one?
Music video for that one.
That would be ill. That would be ill. Can you talk a little bit about making that record for Chaotic?
So Chaotic was, forgive the pun, but a reflection on like my previous lifestyle of drug use and stuff like that. Because I was a party animal. I would just bullshit all day, you know what I mean? If I had some bread, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get a bag. I'm going to do this. I'm going to chill with my homie, drink some beers, freestyle, drive around the city.
I love how you brought us into the world. Like, you brought us there.
I was trying to, because there's a fine line that I struggle with where I wasn't trying to highlight the use, but I still wanted to bring you into how I was feeling in that moment. Right. So I was trying to find a healthy balance of that because I didn't want it to influence, like, oh, I want to go do, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good lifestyle, but it was just kind of, it was a reflection back to what the chaos that I was living in, the chaotic lifestyle I was living in. And yeah, I really do like that record. It was a really good record. I like that one.
Yeah, it's solid, man. And then Silent Treatment too was very like introspective. That one was dope too. Can you talk a little bit about making Silent Treatment?
Silent Treatment was one of those ones that really just flowed. I knew that I wanted Richard Blackshear on a track. Shout out Richard. Him and Midnight Snack actually won an award for the live act of the year.
Yeah,
at
that
the
was
OEN,
dope. Shouts to them.
So super proud. So I had that beat. I'd bought it off of YouTube, and I was just sitting there one day, and I hadn't written in a while, and I was just like, I was literally smoking and drinking so loud and smoking, and it just it just flowed out. That was one of the quickest songs I think I've ever written. I wrote that in like 30 minutes. It just flowed out so fast, and I hit Richard up. Richard's like, oh yeah, I got you, but it ended up taking longer to drop because back in 2023, I lost so many people in the past 2 years, like family members and friends. So Richard didn't even hit me back up, and I was like, hey, you know, it was a couple months. I was like, did you ever do anything to Silent Treatment? He's like, oh no, it's been done. I was just letting you go through your grief, you know what I mean? I was like, nah, bro, I've been waiting on that. He said it to me, and I was like, ooh, Richard, he killed this. His verse is so good on there, but I'm gonna lock in another track with him soon too. I was already talking to him about it, but yeah, that track, like it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just when you're in that space and you're kind of reflecting on your life and what you're trying to do, you know, now. And the Silent Treatment, the sound of it kind of represents the silence that some people like to go to therapy. Some people like to do this. Sometimes I just want to in silence. You know what I mean? Just sit there and just figure out shit, do some mental brain work. And that's kind of what that concept was.
I love that. How would you say it's different, Reflect? You guys, do you have a unique perspective, you know, coming from the hip hop world and then joining up with AJ and forming Hollow Spaces and now performing like with the band? You know, how would you say it's enhanced you know, even your skills going with the band?
It's enhanced my skills tremendously, working with them, and especially even just doing the rehearsals. First rehearsal, I automatically was just picking out weak points from my performance, and I'm just like, all right. And then the next time, Alex is like, she even noticed, she was like, oh, okay, he's not fucking up on these spots now. Like, so it taught me a lot, and she always says that I'm a natural. She said, you were built to do performances, because she's like, you are a performance artist. I see it in you. And so slowly I've been seeing that. Not that I still can learn. I always consider myself a student, no matter how advanced or experienced I become. I will always consider myself a student. But it brings the energy out of you. Because whereas when you're just solo on a stage and you're just rapping, like you can have that energy and everything, but when you have a live band, you have to be animated, move, you know, screaming your vocals and stuff like that. So I've learned tremendously with them. It's challenged my songwriting ability, my performance ability, my breath control. I mean, and the more that I've been doing it, the better I've been getting at it, and more confident. That's another thing. I've been feeling a lot more confident with it, which is a rarity.
How would you say, AJ, that it's transformed even your style and your skills, having Reflect on with you guys?
Oh, it's way different, but it's like a breath of fresh air. It's so cool. I mean, because it almost, it's like instead of just going all out and just going super, super crazy and like being aggressive on stage. I mean, I could still be, aggressive in my performing, but it's also like a different kind of grooving, with that, like his flows, his hip hop flows.
She's picked up on some of my songwriting too, so this is we won't get into it because it's going to be a newer track that we're working on. But she wrote some stuff for it, and she showed me the voice memo and the way her rhyme schemes are in there. I was just like, "You've been picking up on how I write my stuff, huh?" And she was just like, "Yeah, dude, I'm starting to understand now, like why you do certain things and like the complexities and the combinations." So we definitely learn a lot from each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
I'm super
excited
stoked
for that one. Yeah, that one's gonna be dope.
We're gonna be working on that next week, finishing it up.
That's crazy. That's dope. So speaking of, like, what's the plans that you guys are working towards right now currently?
So right now, the number one thing, especially with that show, we're just like, we need more songs because we probably could have played for another 20 minutes because they wanted us to keep going, but we didn't have enough material. And so we're just, because it was one of those things we had in 2024, we just had this cold moment where like we weren't working, but we still wanted to do it, and then we got back to it in 2025. Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of tracks. We knew we wanted to do the show, crunched out those 2 tracks we had been working on, and then we had a cover. And we're just like, dude, we need more songs. So we want to work on getting a couple more singles out, probably working on an EP on the side, and then shows and merch. That's merch and shows, content too, music videos, all that. Just really building the foundation of what's going to represent Hollow Spaces. We already made some ways for ourselves, so now it's kind of like that, okay, what are they going to do next? And we're going to show them. It's like, hey, we got these other tracks, music video we're working on, so
yeah,
it's
man,
going to be
I'm
crazy.
excited. I feel like, especially with the music video and stuff like that, man, it's going to really bring it all together.
We have 2 out already, one for Insane and then one for Spirals, and the guy who worked on Spirals, his name's Zach, shout out Zach, he's going to be doing this next one for Buried Alive with us, and I'm fucking excited. He works with like Warner Bros and stuff like this, like camera stuff. So he's got a lot of tips and tricks, you know what I mean? So I'm really excited to work with him again.
Man, that's ill.
He's a great director and a videographer and just filmmaker. He
just did an indie movie too,
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Man, yeah, I can't wait, man, because I see it already in you guys and what you guys are doing. And it's just a matter of like, okay, when basically. And so I love the talent and the art that you guys have behind this, man. It's awesome. Do you can you guys speak a little bit like as far as the direction that you guys are going with this album or EP?
So we haven't talked. We know we want to do an EP, but one of the things that I talked about and Nadine agreed. At first, Alex was like, "No, we need to do a project first," and me and Nadine was like, "Let's build a bit of a fan base with singles first, then we'll do an EP on the side, so that way we can keep feeding them something." And one of the things I wanted to do, which a lot of artists do is like, yeah, we're going to have some songs we're making to release as we're making it, but I want to have these side tracks so that way we're building on the side. So it's like they're getting hit with singles and then boom, you know what I mean? Here's a whole
that's smart.
So that way we're just constantly feeding it. But the thing is, I also don't want to create an expectation where they're going to expect to drop every single month because like you said, we like to curate our stuff to be somewhat cinematic, and that takes time and effort. And I don't want to just, here you go, here you go, here you go. So we don't have a concept for the EP yet, but I think a lot of these singles we've been doing are setting up the direction of how we want, where we want to go.
We're finally figuring out like our sound, like our real sound. We're finally just kind of crafting something that it's moving in a good direction. So I think just the way that Erase Myself and Buried Alive went, that's definitely what we're going to be pushing towards.
We're going. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to put your finger on it, but it's like Linkin Park with like Evanescence with like, I don't know.
Evanescence. Dang,
yeah, we've gotten those comparisons a lot. It was always very like, I'm always thankful for that. Yeah.
Dropping a little bit of that, like, I guess hardcore breakdowns, if you want to say. I don't know.
God, yeah, I love that. That was so much fun. That
it's like
breakdown
heavy drums, heavy, raw guitar.
And I think
good stuff.
Buried Alive was one of those ones where it's like, okay, is Kevin capable of doing like this heavy shit, Yeah. And so this was an example. Okay, he's capable of doing it. This is direction we could start going. So that was kind of the concept too of why I wanted to wait for the EP. So we're still finding our sound. I want us to get a couple more singles out and get a couple more fans, make a couple waves, and then drop the EP.
Yeah, that's very smart. Yeah, and especially these days, it's like there's so much you got to do, to really curate it. But I love what you guys are doing. I feel like you're on track of doing it. You guys are already doing it. I love it. And where as far as like, what do you guys envision as far as like your guys' mark? Like, what do you guys want to be long lasting as far as like what you guys are doing? What do you guys want for the audience and stuff to take away from it?
I just want them to enjoy it and really like it and vibe with it and like just, I don't know, man. That's
I want the music to do what it did for me when I was younger. What music does for me now too, but like, there's people out there that might be feeling some of the things that we do, and I want them to have an outlet to listen. Music, it saves people, man. Yeah. It's like science, it's a crazy phenomenon that we just live around, and sometimes I feel like people aren't, I don't know how to describe it, like it's so in front of your face all the time, you don't realize how absolutely special it is. And one of the things I want to do is just inspire people. We're just some kids from the IE that we lived in the same neighborhood. It's like, hey, we both do this music, we just had an idea. So if we do take it to the next level, like top tier level, we're always going to do this, but it's like if it goes like, worldwide and stuff, that's what I want people to take away from it. And I also want us to, in a confident way, I want us to represent a power group, because that's one of the ideas that I had with Hollow Spaces when we were forming is we want to get the best bassists we know, the best guitarists we know, the best lyricists, and create a power group so they all do what they do best, but together. And so on that aspect, I want us to be recognized as that. But as far as the music, I just want it to resonate with people. I want it to, whether it improves your day or you're crying to it or you're vibing to it, I want it to do what it did for me when I listened to Linkin Park when I was 12. You know what I mean?
I just want people to go to shows.
That too. I mean,
people don't go to shows as much anymore, like local shows. Everyone's just on their phones and stuff. It's like,
or own their own music, own their own piece of music, or a shirt to remember for that day. Special. We went away from it, and now I feel like it's coming back a little bit, where people want to buy their own piece of music again, which is beautiful.
We wanted that's like kind of when we did the show back in September, we wanted to make it special to, how she's saying with the shows and everything. That's why I was like, hey, everybody get up. And anybody who was sitting down was like, because I wanted to make it a special moment. And
you guys did that. Yeah. You guys brought everybody to the floor. Everybody was standing.
Which was crazy, because I'm not like overly confident like that, but the second I was on stage, I was like, all right, no, you guys, come on, bring it in, you
guys blew the roof
It was
off.
awesome. And shout out to Limelight, Fuego, Personal, Diesel, Tangent, Imagine, all those guys that set up these events. Shout out to you for doing media coverage at these events, because it's given us, that was our start. I said we're bridging that gap. That was that start of us beginning to bridge that gap. You know what I mean? Personal had been wanting us to do it for a couple months, and I was like, all right, let's do this shit. It's beautiful. Shout out everyone who came too.
Well, special thanks to you, AJ. Special thanks to Reflect for being on today. Hollow Spaces, thank you guys for joining me on the podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you guys so much. I love what you guys are doing. You guys will always have my support. And can you let people know where they can find you guys?
On Instagram at Hollow Spaces Official. And we're on every streaming platform. You can find us on YouTube. We do want to start selling our music, but we've talked about creating our own website for that. We want to create something where you just directly go to the fans. So
coming soon.
Yeah, that'll be in the future. But we can listen to us virtually anywhere that you can listen to music. And we only have an Instagram page. I do have a TikTok, but TikTok is this thing flags everything that I put up. So, but yeah, Instagram, Hollow Spaces Official.
All right, check it out, everybody. So those who are listening, we're dropping episodes every Monday. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe. And for those who are watching on YouTube, give us a comment. Let us know after checking out their music, what your thoughts are. And, follow them. They're dope, man. Just follow the journey. Peace, everybody watching, and good night.